will start the meeting. What is that, 5:30 on the button? Are there any changes to the agenda that you know of, Justin? Okay. I haven't heard of any either, so I think we're good.
I haven't done anything from Ron for an update, just so you know.
Yeah, I messaged him, we had a brief email conversation today.
There was this USDA landslides grants that I know nothing about, but that's presented by Jen for Stevens, Jen Ravon.
Okay, well, why don't we'll just wait, because I'm sure he'll pop on at some point, so. Oh, perfect, okay. Hi, Kim. Yeah, we'll just come back to Ron if he joins. Oh, is Jen entering too? That makes sense.
Yes.
Sorry, it took me a second to get unmuted. Hi.
I figured. Hi, Jen. Ron's not on, so we're just gonna move ahead until he joins, just so you ladies are aware of what we decided. The mileage certificate.
Right here.
Okay.
Checked with Mark and there's no changes.
Okay, well, that's easy enough. Okay.
I think that everybody has to sign.
Okay, certificate of highway mileage, year ending. What is this for? Just something we have to do every year, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just wondering if we added or deleted any roads.
Got it. Okay. Now we probably need to approve this. Here, do you guys want to take a peek at this before we make a motion to approve it? Oh, there was no changes, so. I'm making a motion to approve the certificate of highway mileage. I'll second that. Okay, all those in favor? Aye. Opposed, abstained. Okay, perfect. And then if you guys can sign it as well, please. Oh, what, do we got email?
That's for 2025.
Correct.
There's a bunch of blank lines down at the bottom.
Yeah. Didn't matter, it doesn't matter where we.
Sign it?
I don't think so. This says select men. The guy says select men. Not okay. Okie dokie.
Well, right now it's a board of selectmen.
That's very
It's
true.
We can change that.
Well, Jen, it's good you just joined. Let's talk about all of your stuff that you've got for us. Okay, so let's. What do we want to do first, guys, ladies? We'll look at the draft 2.5 of budget. Is that what you guys are all on? Okay. Let's discuss that.
Yeah, when I read this, it was talking about the working towards the target of 5%. It mentions that we have to find another 55,000. And then your highlights below. Are those in addition to that?
No, that's those are taken into account.
So we need
So
to another 55 beyond what you have listed in this.
if you want to get to the 5% of expenditures, yes. So I had some suggestions and what I had sent on Friday, which was mostly just like a recap of everything that's already been presented and the suggestions that I had at that time. I spoke with Ron on Monday so that he could help me with the summary page. And we talked about my hesitation in using the unassigned fund balance. And he reminded me that we have the FEMA money from the flood of 19 that we're still anticipating, that we could use like as an anticipation. So I guess it's not as scary to think about the FY23 draft unassigned fund balance of 250,000. And we used 180 of it already. Like that's kind of, I was worried that it was getting low. And then just that reminder that that's coming made me a little bit more comfortable with using like 40,000 of the unassigned fund balance rather than what we had used last year was 80. So I think if we can slowly back off from using that as an like a revenue line.
The 80,000, and I was worried that you can't just suck it right off because then you show a big expenditure, so. We almost do that.
Right.
Or tear off.
Yep.
Yeah.
I agree.
So there is 40,000. I mean, it's kind of artificial because there's 40,000 that I put in as anticipated revenue of that disaster in the revenue line. So, I mean, it's still 80,000, but what else? So some of the cuts that I took were from the reserves, the capital highway reserve. I just flatlined it at what we normally do for 199. And I lowered the highway road construction reserve from 100,000 to 70 or to 25,000. And then when we do get the FEMA money, I will be asking you guys to be funding those reserves with that grant revenue.
Yeah, those are lowering the construction reserve by 75 grand. That seems like a lot.
Well, so we've never actually funded that other than the transfer from the unused paving money in FY24 and then the use of 100,000 to establish the reserve. So there's never really been an appropriation from the voters. So I think, I don't know, 25 or 50,000 to start would be nice. I was hoping 100,000 because these, the reserves help us plan for, capital projects and help us with over expenditures within the highway budget.
Right.
They're good to have.
I agree. Makes me nervous pulling from a lot of that.
I did ask Justin for the FY25 grand list, and I think you gave me 24 numbers. Justin, are you done with FY25?
No. FY25, that's the. Ends in June of 25, right?
I'm not familiar with that portion at all.
That I gave you, our grand lists are as of April 1st. So from the 2023 grand list to 2024 grand list, there's an increase of approximately 1.8%. For the 2025 grand list, we won't be completed with that until after April 1st of 25. So the tax bills that just went out were from the 24 grand list, which is what, 25 budget?
Hey, Justin, Ron here.
Hi, Ron.
On the estimated estimated 25 grand list, which you'll produce preliminary one April 1st coming up, and then you'll finalize in June of 25. If you say you had a 1.86 from 23 to 24, and Steve, who's sitting next to you, and you have been watching activity in town for the last 6 months that would impact FY20, 25 grand list. Are you suggesting that we do or don't use 2% increase estimate in the 25 grand list? So, based on your 1.86, you saw the activity that made that happen. Using that kind of vision and try to get the magic 8-ball out, do you go to 1.5 or 2.0 or some other number for an estimate on the next grand list, just between you and Steve watching activity in town for new construction?
I would recommend about 1 or 1.25. A lot of what we saw for the 2024 grand list was stuff that wasn't done previously before my onboarding. So there's a lot of backlog that made that increase.
Okay.
Presuming that's going to be a lot lower, so it'd be between the 1 to 1.5, maybe 1.25. So most towns I see are around the 1% mark for an increase.
Yeah. So what that means is the current tax rate projection that Jen's been working on was 2.0. So if you reduce that to 1.25 in your next version, you'll need to find additional deductions or revenue to get back to your goal, whatever your goal is on your tax rate, because that lowering of the projection will increase the tax rate.
So it sounds like we'll need to find more than 55,000.
Yeah, I mean, the 55 is always two parts. It's revenue and it's expenses. But I think when Jen and I were looking at revenue, we didn't see a lot of new revenue coming to help you guys. So the grand list is the other source that could help. If Justin was saying, 3% tonight, you probably would be done with your budget pretty much. But when he goes the other way to 1.25, which is a good realistic number, that impacts the amount of work you guys have to do on your pretty much the expense budget only. The thing that Jen was just talking about, which is your anticipated unrestricted revenue from 2019 storm, that money does come in. So you do have unrestricted revenue that you can't bank on it, like Jen was saying, but it's on its way. It's in process. So it's a little difficult to have super high confidence, but it's enough confidence to start to know that it's coming. So when you reduce those revenue lines and hold them flat for the capital appropriations, that's the area that you'd say, when that money comes in, Jen's going to say, don't forget, we talked about this. We're running behind on our capital budgeting and revenues. So we need to take that unrestricted federal grant reimbursement money and put it into reserves because you cut it to get down, the tax rate down in FY26.
I know, how strongly are you guys on this 5%? I mean, I think we need to be a little more realistic than 5%.
I mean, I want to make sure I look at this and it's all employment. Every bit of it's employment. We're looking at a $40,000 increase amongst everything else. Other than we have the roadway reserve appropriation of 25,000, sidewalk at 15,000. There's 40 grand. You take those out of there. Basically, we're giving ourselves nothing for a safety barrier, and then outside of that, it's all employment on our fire and safety. And we have $15,000 a year, and other than that, it's health, the highway health, and our administration health and benefits.
And wages, yeah. I mean, it's,
I don't think you change that, short of, are we gonna make that hard decision? We have to go to the taxpayers, we have to go to the taxpayers and ask them, and if they come back with us with the acts and say. We not gonna approve your budget, then we gotta look at, are we gonna fire people here in this town? I mean, that's basically our only option, you know,
Right.
that's, I mean. I don't think that is what we're looking to do, you know, but
And I think the other thing, you know, Jen pointed out, and I was glad that she did, like, we need to remember all the over expenditures that we've been approving, and we don't have ARPA to help us with that anymore, so,
same, yes.
you know, so
We got some tight decisions to start.
we do, and so, you know. I feel, Jen, I mean, I feel like you worked extremely hard at cutting where you can cut. Do you have suggestions on any more cuts or not really? I mean, I feel like you've kind of brought it down as close as you can.
I mean, a lot of them, you know, they're outside budgets from like, you know, different departments and agencies that, unless you're asking them to come back and propose something lower, you know, there might be $500 here or $2,000 there that I could cut like out of administration. But realistically, you know, we could still present those over expenditures. And budgeting for them appropriately is probably better than pretending like it wouldn't happen. There was the overtime that I had talked about.
The fire equipment here, that's oxygen, is that what that is?
What's that?
we talked about this.
That's really the only material thing on this list.
Right, and that's,
We talked about that last
yeah,
time. There was
Ryan
something.
came in, were you here when
Yeah,
Ryan came in?
yes, but yeah.
And it's like a hit this year, right, Jen? And then it's gonna be balanced out.
Yeah,
Am I
it's gotta be in
saying
one
that
of these minutes here.
Right.
What was the question? I didn't hear.
For Ryan's fire department increase for that equipment, it was a big hit this year
The tanks are right here.
It's awesome. Right, it was-
for
The
the,
gear needs to be replaced every 10 years, $5,000, 3 to 4 sets every year. And proposed a line item for $15,000 that was added. There are 18 members. Right, there's the air packs and bottles. And
yes.
Yeah.
Couple of
Slowly get them every year. Yeah.
So, I mean, we could like tough ball and drop that $5,000 and limit him some more, but what the heck is $5,000 doing?
Well, then you run into
Right.
how much are they gonna cost next year?
Right, it's like,
So it's like,
it's such a catch-22 on all of it. I mean, it's the game we play, right?
Ron, is there any grants for fire
Yes.
equipment?
There is, that's how they got it last time, and they are gonna look for them, so that could potentially
Yes.
come back. That was the hope, I think, to do that,
But if we're not budgeted for it, he doesn't get the grant, we're pooched.
yes.
I mean, we can go to the town taxpayers with this number. And I look at the bottom number, when you start talking per 100,000. It's not a big increase, you know, but. I hate, this is why I came here to try to.
I know.
help the town people, and it's gut wrenching to increase anything.
Well, you have to think that you are helping, and you're helping control it, like, it's not a 15% increase. I mean, I think we have to kind of look at it that way, that, I mean. I think, I mean, I don't like it either, but it's the way.
Yeah, the only thought I have related to Steve's is the cash flow that Jen and I see with the projects. Most of the projects that are grant funded simply make you whole again because you've used reserves and you get your response, your grant back for the big expenses. So there's really no extra money, or the only thing that provides the unrestricted sort of extra money, if you will, is the FEMA money, because it takes so long to get it back. You guys are 2 or 3 fiscal years, old, past the event before you get your money. So when it comes to you, you've already dealt with your budget issues 2 years ago or more. So that's the unrestricted. Right now, there's 280,000 coming, and that's just from that's the big project. Then there's some miscellaneous small projects. So there's real money that is not in your hands yet. It's obligated by the federal government. It has to get through the process before you'll see it. So, you're talking about a July need while some of this money is working through its process now and should be here, in 3 months or less. So you will be in a different condition on June 30th with harder numbers, let's say. Now, how much do you put to the voters and say, look, we put a lot of money out and we're going to get some of it back, and we're going to level fund all the capital lines this year with the intention to use those unrestricted grant reimbursement funds to sort of backfill it later. That does two things. It sort of commits the board to following through with that, because otherwise those funds are going to get really hurt. Like Jen was saying, there's so many projects and capital projects coming up that you really need to be wary of those and make sure they're funded. If you're not going to fund it through your annual appropriation lines, then just like ARPA was a one-time thing, the FEMA money is a one-time thing. And, if you're looking forward to next year at this time and looking at a whole bunch of level funded capital appropriations, you're going to be having the same conversation about where are we going to get this money? It's sort of a deferral is what I'm saying. You're sort of kicking the can down the road on the capital reserves if you go to level funding on those capital appropriations this year. But what Matt's saying is absolutely true, that if you have to do it, you got to do it, because there is an upper limit to the acceptable, taxpayer limits. Well, you don't know what that is until you propose a budget, but in prior years, anything under 4% was generally accepted by the taxpayers. You get up into the 7, 8, 9, that's where you're going to get the pushback for sure. So, Chassis talked about going above the 5. All you do at that point is start to raise concern, and Matt was speaking to that. At some point, people are going to have a pushback on the tax rate increase, but they also know that there's a reasonable amount to accept for tax rate increase based on inflation and the needs of the town. So the 5% is actually a pretty good, but on the higher side, I think. Whether you can get to 6% now that you heard a grand list number that's lower, it still doesn't get rid of the 55,000 that Jen was talking about earlier, somewhere in the budget. I don't know what the top of my head, I don't know what the capital appropriation lines would add up to if you zeroed those, whether that's 55 on its own. I don't think it is. So then you're going to, you definitely, it's really hard to delete those and go the other way. Prior select boards have done that in the past, and it's really hard to recover if you start to go back below 25 rates, 25 appropriations. And I've looked at the budget on the expense and revenue side with Jen, and there was no easy answers in there to find the 55. Otherwise, I think she would have brought it to you.
We're seeing health insurance increases over the state of 18 to 22%.
Exactly.
So that when I look at the pie chart and I see that our salaries are 35%, pretty much. Most of our highway department is salaries. And then part of the public safety, most of that is the salary cost of it. I mean, that is what we're seeing. sidewalk reserve, what was the reasoning for jumping it up an extra 15? That was where we were. We could cut that one.
I think that's the project that's coming down the wire.
That's the one that's falling behind, right?
Right, it's already
Street extension.
drastically behind.
Yeah, but, we had a meeting with the village and they want to, take over the sidewalks,
The cost of it.
everything.
Yeah. I mean, you guys are the fine tone.
I know.
I mean, my understanding is that the village is maintaining the sidewalks already. So, and if we give them, control over them and jurisdiction, then they can seek out grants as well.
Right.
Does that mean they'll oversee the projects too then?
Yeah, we're just gonna let them have the sidewalks and working in the right of way, the town right of way. But they have to.
You're gonna give them the town right away? Is that what you said?
The portion of the right of way that the sidewalks would be in. We'll let them use that without having to come to the town.
They pretty much are the town, right? Same thing.
No, the village, yeah, we're the other town, yeah. See, now, anything that happens in the town right away, they have to get a 1111 permit for it.
When is the fire truck coming? I know it keeps changing.
March is the last update that I have.
Okay. And we know there's
Yes. Steve, I was thinking that when you said give them the right of way, that means that the village can plow and maintain the roads and their own sidewalks and just give up all the roads.
Yeah, no, it's just the portion of the right of way that the sidewalks are in. We're not gonna deed it to them or anything. We're just gonna let them do whatever they need to do for the sidewalks without getting a permit. Some of the sidewalks are already completely in the village, but some of them, they're half, 3/4 of the sidewalks are in the town right away. So that's why.
No, all the sidewalks are in town highway right of ways. And the town owns and controls the town highway right of way in the village limits. The question of whether or not you want to come up with an agreement and let them have a standing 1111 permit to do whatever they want is sort of your question, not if they take a portion of the right of way, that's going to create problems for the town.
They can take where it's only with regards to the sidewalk. So if they have, if they're putting in new sidewalks.
No. What I'm talking about is that ownership and control of the town public highway right of ways is now by the town of Hyde Park. The sidewalks are part of the stormwater system. Yeah, and you're not going to be able to differentiate the two. So the town should maintain control over the right of way, but you can come up with a supplemental agreement on sidewalks.
That is what basically you're saying. That, we're just going to let them have the responsibility.
Right. Yeah, we're not going to deed or anything away the town right away.
So I think we may have discussed this. When they sell the fire truck, where does that money go to?
I think they said they aren't expecting to get much for the fire truck.
Yeah, all the revenue goes back into the fire apparatus reserve fund.
In the apparatus, I was just wondering if we were to cut that 15,000 a little bit, could that money go into that fund?
Can it, Jen?
It will, but I don't think that they were thinking they were going to be able to sell or get very much.
Yeah, I see old fire trucks on Marketplace all the time for like $5,000-6,000, and those are like the resellers. They're the people who bought it from the towns and then the resellers.
I just didn't know if that was a way to cut any out,
Yeah. No, that's a good thought. The sale of any equipment in the fire department isn't predetermined to go into an apparatus reserve. You as the board can determine where that proceed goes, whether it's equipment reserve or, the truck reserve.
When do we need to do the final approval of the budget, Jen? Were you hoping to get that tonight?
I guess I just needed like a target, what we're shooting for, and I can present you with another one on the 28th, but that's the hard deadline. I think Kim said she has to post the warning and everything Friday, the 1st. So if we need to, like, the day after or whatever,
Maybe
before the 1st, but
we have this possible special budget meeting discussion if we need to set another one.
Right. Okay. So let's,
I guess we should look at why we increased the sidewalk reserve, the additional 15 grand, because that's 1.5 times what it was. If they're for that one. Other than that, I don't see another big cut personally. Or we could talk about like the fire department, maybe we have, I don't know.
push it a year.
Yeah,
I mean, I support the fire department 100%. Y'all know that, but I mean, we're already asking for that increase. We're asking for the bond vote. We're asking for a lot of stuff this year. Maybe we say, look, Brian, we know, like, we're willing to take whatever sale from the fire department, put it in that fund for this year, ask for the bond vote, see what happens, and then we have to look back at the other part next year. Like, we're just trying to cut a little bit here and there, whatever comes from the sale of the fire truck, put it towards that equipment reserve for this year. And then we'll look next year when we're not asking for this giant possible bond vote for the, I mean.
Yeah, I don't think there's any expiration this year or coming up. I don't think.
Yeah, and I know he's just.
No, he's
plan.
looking ahead.
Yeah,
you're
which
right.
I get and I
You're right.
appreciate, but I just
Yeah.
think like,
We have-
let's, that's a huge chunk. I mean, $15,000 is a lot. I mean, even if they get 6,000 for the truck or 5,000, that's a
Right.
third of what he's asking for. Let's, put that money for that, whatever that is, put it in that for this year. And then we'll look back at that next year. Like, we're already asking for a lot. And then we're looking at, splitting the reserve fund for North Hyde Park and Eden between the two, which I totally am for that too. I just think that we're already asking for a lot for them this year. And because none of that equipment is going out this year, let's try to, that's a huge chunk that we might be able to lower it a little bit this year. I mean, don't get me wrong, my son's one of those that uses their pack, so I'm not against it, so don't get me wrong, I'm just saying.
But that's actually logical, because then next year, we'll know what their fire truck money is, and then we can adjust.
Yeah,
the
right.
reserve.
I'm just,
We don't have to use a crystal ball.
Getting to Matt's point about trying to get into the line items and look for any significant money, the direction that Jen was seeking is sort of like that. Do you want to zero the capital reserve appropriations between 25 and 26, knowing that when FEMA money comes in, you'll be moving that to the reserves to true those up again? Which only buys you a year, because next year you're going to be in the same position of trying to go from a no increase 26 to some increase in 27. But the other part of that, and this is something that Jen and I can look at a little bit more detail, are the project grant revenues that are coming, and make sure that there's a pretty high level of confidence that the money will be here by either the rest of this fiscal year or early 26, so that you can put that revenue line in on your revenue page where Jen put, I think, 40,000 for FEMA. We can revisit that 40,000, and that that in combination with level funding the appropriations for capital reserves might get you to your goal. Now, is your goal the 5% tax rate, or is it 6% tax rate is the other piece of what, in order for Jen to get close on a final budget. I suppose you could keep it at 5% and she could go to the 28 saying, I got to 5.2, and then you guys can say that's good enough, or you can say, can we get to 4.5? I don't know. But, having a clear number on what you want to tell voters for the tax rate increase helps her fine tune her pencils, so to speak.
Another option was the overtime for the highway, where they were at 275 and now lowering that to 250. The problem is, are you rolling with us? We start getting snow every day and we're running overtime. Maybe look at half that. We go 255.
But then, if worse comes to worse, then Mark may just have to adjust his payroll during the summer.
Right. Which is, with that, we did get the fifth man, so obviously with that fifth man, we should have lower overtime. So that is an offsetting thing, so maybe that is an honest. There's 12 grand of it, and that of the 55, so realistically, we're looking at as a third of it, essentially, or
Right.
close to, 25% of the number we're looking for. So if we're talking about meeting in the middle of what we wanted, 5%. If we find another 10 grand, then with the sidewalk budget, if we can 5 off that, 5 off the oxygen tanks, we're halfway there, I think. Just us,
So more of a 6%?
yeah. Any idea what the school budget is gonna be?
Not a clue.
What were they last year?
I don't know, I voted 4 different times. I don't know where it did end
About
up.
to say, I
Yeah.
think
Yeah,
they
they only
voted
dropped.
4 times, but I think
It was like a
5.
20, it was a 20-something% or something, I remember, and then they only dropped it off 1%.
Yeah, I don't, it's not terrible, I don't remember.
Yeah, the school board meeting last night, it's not gonna be bad.
No,
Is it gonna be in the 6%?
We're trying to keep it under 5.
But doesn't that give also Ron and Ryan more time to look into like grants for this kind of stuff too?
yeah, I think they have been already.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so that's another, just gives a little bit more time.
Mhm. Yeah. So do we want to have her do 6 or 5, or what are you thinking? What number do you want her to go?
I don't know how
for?
you can go less than 6. We want to, but.
I don't think we can.
Yeah, I don't think we can either, I think.
the level funding makes me weary. I don't.
Well,
like
look how
that
much she's
idea.
already cut it,
Right.
she's done a great job already.
Right.
But there's hard costs, you can't take out of there.
There's certain things you can't, you
can't.
can't do anything about that, like that's out of, completely out of anything.
We're gonna give our fire department or our little squad that
Right.
raised 9%, we can't change that, so.
Mhm.
To see the highway department ask for a 1% increase is pretty respectable.
Yeah,
For-
exactly.
So
Right.
I think our highway department's being very.
That's our biggest part of our budget.
Our
That's
full
only
rate
1%.
regulation, we're at 0.5%, and that's with our library, that's really responsible. Again, it's
Yeah.
public safety, you're gonna go tell Mark who they cut his budget,
Right.
we already did cut him by 3%, he was at 6.
Exactly.
I mean,
They cut it big time.
so
So Jen, if we gave you a 6% goal, do you think you could work with that?
I'll try to make it happen.
That's all you can
I
ask.
think talking with Mark about how realistic those hours are, I mean, and that's a big one, like, it was. a great-
He would disagree, so.
Well,
Yeah.
then, we'll help him figure that out.
He disagrees with dropping the overtime?
Yes.
Did you, I know I asked and I'm sorry if I don't recall what you said, but to figure out an average of the overtime the past couple of years?
You guys asked me and I told you that it would be kind of tricky and you said that it would be okay not to.
Okay.
But I can
No.
most definitely do it if you would like me to.
Nope. No. No, I thought that's what you said. I just couldn't quite remember. Okay. So let's,
I tried to remind him that you know, he talked about not knowing with like the severe storms that we've been having that are usually like the disasters from FEMA. That
Right.
like, you know, we get reimbursed for that month, you know,
Right.
those overtime hours.
Right, those are like above and beyond, right?
Right.
Like, that's beyond our budget control, so.
Correct.
Realistically, the snow is the only thing we can't control, right?
Right.
The summertime, we can control everything.
Absolutely.
We know we're gonna grade, we're not gonna grade, he doesn't.
And there could be a flood in the summer, we can't control that either, but again, that's reimbursed.
Last year.
I mean, well, true,
Usually.
usually, yeah, usually, Jen, usually. So, I mean.
We got one more meeting, I think we target that, look at those couple of things, why are we increasing the sidewalks? I do know we've had this conversation, and my memory's failing me a little bit, but if the village is looking at some of that, maybe. I remember that project was coming out, and I remember that was a discussion, because that was coming close to it, and we didn't have the match.
Right,
It was the discussion.
we needed to increase the allocation, but.
Yeah.
Okay. So, thank you, Jen. So if you can try for 6. we
Okay.
appreciate it. And do you think, this is later in the meeting, but do you think we should do a special budget meeting prior to the 28th? Is that, Kim and Jen, is that giving you guys enough time for warning and all of that? I just want to make sure that we're not down to the wire trying to get things posted and warned appropriately.
I think it's a good amount of time for me to work on it and yeah.
Okay,
Um,
don't try to sneak in a special meeting before the 28th, or
I don't know. I'm unsure.
okay. Kim, are you good with the being able to, when we approve it on the 28th? Getting their warnings done appropriately and,
Yes.
okay. I just want to make sure that we're not pushing our limits there. Okay,
I think, in my opinion, it's really gonna depend on how many questions the select board will have.
so make sure you've got them all out now, which I think we do, right? And that's basically what she comes back with. Okay. Okay, well, Ron, sorry, we skipped over you because you were a little late, so would you like to go now and then we'll go back to the finance?
Whatever you guys want to do. I'm just a really short report on the grant stuff. If you want me to do that now.
Sure, go for it.
So I'm doing the grants monthly report at your second meeting, so that'll be updated for your January 28th meeting. The projects that we have are the Garfield Road CCS amendment, which was the work was approved by USDA, but we need to amend the contract, which I think there's a change order that somebody has hopefully at the table there. So once that's approved, then we can go through the reimbursement. But you have a pending question there. A contract required a 10% retainage. Watershed wrote a kind of a project completion email with saying they all did great work, blah, 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 and we have to wait for grass to be 100% complete. So due to the weather, you have to wait till spring. The retention is about a little under $10,000. So it's the way the contract was written, it was meant to not pay them for work that wasn't yet fully complete. So you don't pay somebody 100% for 80% of the work. But Watershed did issue a substantial completion that they completed the work to the plan. So it really is about $50 worth of grass seed maybe in the spring if it doesn't grow. So you have a choice. You as the board under the contract have to issue decision to release payment. And you can either do the 90% or 100%. When you get to this point, and Matt knows more about it than I do, you know, you're kind of building relationships with contractors, and to hold 10,000 for $50 worth of grass is, and you have a 1-year warranty that will get you through the whole construction season into 2026. So you do have a warranty that doesn't include retainage. The retainage was a separate item that was just meant to make sure that they completed the work. So Watershed was asking, you know, what do you guys want to do? We're good with the work they did, but the contract says hold 10% until the grass grows. So it's one of those things where you're, you know, as a town, you're like, do we really want to hold that money for grass? I mean, if it was substantial amount of work, then the 10,000 is your, you know, surety basically that it'll be completed. But I don't know, Matt might want to chime in on 100%.
I'm the one that pushed for the retainage to be added to the contract.
Yeah.
And my worry was because of the weather,
Yeah.
and I was nervous. So
Yeah.
I'm fine with releasing it now, but just so you guys know, I'm the one that said I want 10% retainage.
It's normal to have retainage.
Right,
I've
that's-
had contracts where it goes 2 different ways. I mean, I've got a project right now that's been done for 9 months, and the contract window says that it has to have 85% of grass growth of certain different types of grass.
Oh, geez.
And we're waiting for A&R to say that, yep, the wetland has grown back, and they're holding a massive amount of money. But like you said, it gets down to relationships. They're a local contractor.
Right, yeah,
I know Mark well enough where I think that
exactly.
if something needs to be done in the spring, I'm pretty positive that, like I said, maybe $100 worth of grass seed, or, you know, if there's a little bit of mulch here or there, I'm not concerned with
Right.
CCS coming back to fix.
Exactly. So,
The change order, that came from unsuitable soils, was what.
Right.
right, and it was all
That's reimbursable.
correct.
That was my only question. But
Yes. Yeah, that didn't even come to us.
So change order?
Well, I mean,
They approved it ahead of time.
right, it all like happened,
Okay.
you know,
But we have to sign that additional expenditure.
correct. Yes, the change order.
Is there a vote needed on that?
Yes, I would say that. Should we do 2 separate votes, Ron? One for the change order and then one saying we're.
Yeah. Yeah, the change order approval is required by the board. It's been approved by the engineer, and then you sign it.
Okay.
And then you let Jen know through a motion what the amount of the final payment's going to be, which I actually, I don't have the pennies and cents in front of me, but it was
Make a motion to approve that change order.
98,000 or something. Jen, do you have the exact?
Yeah, we have it, Ron. It's.
Okay.
Yeah,
So I will make a motion to approve the CCS change order. For. The unsuitable soils.
in the amount.
I don't think it has the
It
amount.
doesn't, it
Isn't
didn't
it?
have it in this one.
I didn't.
It's in our package though.
I thought it said 12.
Well, it's minus municipal portion.
Ah, gotcha.
It was in there in our package. Actually, it's in that full package right there.
Stay tuned.
Yeah, stuff that came with that, so let's see if.
Are you guys looking for the increase?
And the total, because it doesn't.
Yeah, because
Right here. Change order 1. So. This change order will increase the contract price by $18,679.00.
Okay.
So that's what was approved, so I'll make a motion to approve change order 1 for in the description as Garfield Road site, install 2-foot of type 2 stone on slope face. Reason for it was during install and construction, the slope material was determined to be inadequate for replacement due to instability and poor quality of material. Poor material is being trucked off site to improve facility, and clean, well drained material will be trucked in to utilize on the slope. Approximately 225 yards
In the amount of,
in the amount of $18,679.
perfect. I'll second that. Okay, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstained.
Abstaining.
Okay, and now
Reason for abstain.
Because it's my family's company.
relation there.
I just feel like
Valid
it's weird.
reason, valid question.
I feel like
though.
it's very weird for me to vote on it,
That makes
right?
sense.
Yeah,
Isn't
yeah,
it?
I agree, yeah.
I'm not opposed, but I feel like it's weird.
Yeah. So now let's have a motion to, approve payment. For Jen to release payment.
Okay.
An emotion, please?
Do we need a motion for you to sign this change order?
I think we all have to. It's right here.
Well, the thing I have is just for reimbursement. That, and I think everybody has to sign
Yeah.
that.
Okay, but
I'm not sure if there has to be a signature for the change, or I don't have a form for that.
okay,
No, we didn't have to, so we don't need a vote for that.
okay,
Cause we approved it,
Wait.
so now we sign it,
okay.
yep. And now we need a motion to tell
Release
Jen, release payment in the amount of,
I'll make.
if we're all good with the no
I'll make
retainage.
a motion to release the retainage to CCS. Payment in full. Last, or the remaining 10%,
Well, no,
which was, right, you're holding 10%.
Jen, no payment's been made, correct?
Correct.
Okay, so to release full payment to CCS.
Yep.
Okay, I'll second. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed, abstain.
Abstaining.
Yeah.
That's really fun. Last time we voted to approve them to do a job. And I said, oh, good call.
Super.
Good on that.
It says.
It's weird.
15 CCS, for invoice number for project for.
I don't think, did you get an invoice, Jen?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cause you can, yes, pick that. Okay, sorry, Ron. Landslide grant?
That's what you've been talking about
Oh,
tonight.
that's the one. Okay, sorry.
So I just forgot to mention that part of the work by CCS include Brook Road. So it's not just Garfield Road, which you've been talking about mostly tonight. So those are stable, waiting for the next high water. Back on December 17th, you approved Stone Shore amendments. I still need those back to me signed by Chastity. So I don't know if those are laying around there, but
Yep, they're right here in front of me.
so I can get those signed. Then VTrans needs those so I can submit for reimbursements.
Okay, yep, I've got them right here. I'll sign them.
And the last thing is that you have a consultant selection committee for the North Hyde Park grant, which is the River Shore and Village Walkways project. It's a $60,000 project for updating a 2016 scoping report. So it's just design stuff with the community up there. That RFP is coming back on January 27th. That's the deadline. So on January 28th, we have a recommendation for a contract for Dubois King if they check all the boxes. They'll start working with the community members up there on connecting the Heath Road and Ferry Street to the post office and possibly getting down as far as the bridge to get to the store with pedestrian improvements. So just want to give you a quick update. That's the next date in that project. But that's all I had unless you had some questions.
Any questions for Mr. Ron, guys?
Okay. Perfect.
Ron, did you need the BC 2187 signatures of the select board for the V-Trans?
No, there was,
reimbursement?
I think yeah, so,
That's what
right.
we just signed was the BC 2187.
Yeah, I was asking if somebody had authorization to sign those. I think I almost remember a motion where Steve was granted authorization to sign any necessary grant paperwork to put, maybe that was the FEMA authorization you gave him.
I think it was just FEMA. Yeah.
So, from a operational perspective, a lot of this stuff is really straightforward, but we need to have an authorized person sign for reimbursements and other things. If it includes a budget amendment, I always would bring it back to the full board, but in between there's some paperwork. Sometimes that needs to be signed by an authorized person for the V-Trans grants. And if Steve doesn't have that, it'd be good to have him or Chastity authorized to sign either one, just to keep things moving outside of your meetings. But no grant, no dollars attached to those kind of things, and those would go back to the board. So anyway, otherwise we can bring it back to the board in the interim if you want to figure that out later.
I thought we voted to approve you to sign FEMA stuff.
Yeah, FEMA was done. I don't think V-Trans was done though.
Okay.
But we can play with it a little bit. I want to get this. Let me get the Stone Shore stuff tuned up first, because then we can work with that, and then I'll come back with a more specific authorization request for future grants.
Okay. Sounds good.
Okay.
Great. Thank you.
All righty. I think you're all set with me based on the agenda.
I think so. Yeah.
All right. Talk to y'all later. Have a good night.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so let's go back to Jen's finance memo, fire station bond warning. You got the wording for that, right, Jen, when you met with the bond guy?
Yes.
Okay.
And I gave it to Justin to put in your regular packet.
Yep.
I don't know, did you guys have any questions? I think, Ryan had talked about the meeting date and time. He wanted to have it at the fire station. I think there was just a question on whether or not Justin would be able to record it there without moving equipment.
And the answer is yes.
Yeah, we discussed that there is Wi-Fi up there, but in order to record it, we would need to have some type of good audio, whether it's a phone that people pass around or something else. It could be a recording audio device. We can be creative with it. I don't think it needs to be remote accessible. I think it just needs to be recorded. So.
Right, because it's informational, right?
Yeah. So, and I know sometimes people can get a little loosey-goosey with the rules and order of things, not us specifically, just people in general. So if we want to do that, we just want to make sure that everyone knows what the process is.
Sure.
What if we had, so we're just recording it, what if we had like the lapel mics, how would that work? Wonder how those work. Like the microphones like they use, wonder how those work. Are you good with that techie stuff?
No.
Oh.
I think a phone will be fine.
Yeah, maybe we can find some sort of microphone that have Bluetooth onto it.
Well, that's what I mean, you're just like, let me find out tomorrow, I'll email you guys then.
Okay.
Because we have some at work that we know tomorrow. That we're using for.
Also on that
They
note,
record, but I don't know what they record on.
I won't be here.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about that.
Okay.
Oh. I don't know.
So, Jen, I already told you couldn't go. Do you need us to approve this article now?
No, it's a draft for you to look over, give me any input. I need a finalized date and time and place that we can update it to.
Okay.
And then
I'm not-
a finalized, a finalized one for you guys to vote on will be next meeting.
Okay. I mean, does anyone have any, I don't have any questions because I don't know what they're supposed to say, so as long as you got the right wording from what it's supposed to say, I'm good, so I don't have any questions. Do you guys? No? Okay. Okay, the audit. Okay.
We'll share.
Can we have a motion for Jen to sign the proposal with RHR for the next audits? Get some done, Jen, and move right into the next, right?
Right.
Right along.
Oh, it's this one. Yeah, I'll make the motion to have Jen sign the proposal for our HR. Smith and Company to engage with us to complete our FY 25, 26, and 27 audits.
Okay.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstained. Done. I'll slow them down. We'll approve those later, but they're there. Okay. Anything else for us, Jen? We'll go through the warrants and get those approved for you.
I just wanted to ask about the rewording that I presented tonight for the establishment of the new North Hyde Park Eden Fire Equipment Reserve. Are you guys good with me proposing those as articles and sending them the way that they are presented to you? To the town attorney for review? Do you agree that we should split the reserve that's there currently and fund it with half and then a $6,000 transfer from the general fund unassigned fund balance, or since we're not possibly funding the other capital reserves, perhaps we just split what's there and don't add anything?
I feel like we might want to only give like a third.
Oh, true.
What's
Because
that?
I was thinking about giving a third of that budget to, because the North Hyde Park Fire Station is split with Eden. Should we give half to the?
No, because Eden does their own.
Yeah, we would approve that money. Sorry. Yeah, no, we're good.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm fine with it.
Yeah, let's have the attorney look at it, Jen.
With the $6,000 from the general fund unassigned fund balance as well?
You guys.
Or just splitting?
What was the reasoning for having 6,000? Did he want it to be at 28,000?
I have no idea.
No, there's no reason for it other than in case it doesn't pass. We normally fund that shared reserve with 12,000. But it sounds like you guys might be cutting that tonight, and I just not sure where you guys want to go with it. I don't want to do something you don't want me to.
Matt's thinking very hard, Jen.
I'm processing.
His mind is spinning right now. I can tell by looking at him.
Would it hurt to take literature of the splitting of the transfer of the $6,000 out? Because I feel like that's something the select board could vote on at any time if we ever needed that funds. Say they came to us for something and we were going for their reserve. If we were,
Oh, to move it from the general fund,
we could then. Right?
but it needs something. right?
Right, I was saying stay with the 2.6. And remove
Got it. Sorry.
the literature of the 6,000.
Okay.
I can remove that, yep. Just keep it with the 22-6 split, okay.
Yeah.
Great,
Jen,
thank you, yeah.
part of the warning process, I actually send the entire warning to the town attorney to be reviewed. So if
Yep.
you provide me the articles, once you've made the edits, then I will add them to the draft warning. And then once the select board is good with the warning, before they sign it on the 28th, I will make sure that the town attorney reviews it.
You got it.
Thank you.
I'm all set.
Okay,
Good.
perfect. Thank you, Jen.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Yeah. Okay, town meeting stuff, Jen. Okay, so review the town meeting articles.
So I had a discussion between myself and the town attorney and myself and the school district.
Okay.
Excuse me. There is nothing in the education statutes and there's nothing in the school district's articles of agreement that dictate how the school board members are elected.
Okay.
The town attorney wouldn't give me advice because the school district is not his client. We are, but he did suggest having a separate article for the school board members because there's town officials and there's school officials. So that's why there's a separate article for the school board.
Okay. And that's okay to do that.
Yes.
Okay. Obviously. Okay.
The school district actually said other towns, all the towns in the district elect their school board members the way that they elect their town officials.
Okay.
So like in Eden, I think that they're a floor meeting, so their officials are elected from the floor. That includes electing the school district, school board members from the floor. So following the logic of us moving all officials to the floor meeting this year because of the issue, the Australian ballot issue, it just is logical to put that out there for the town to say, yes, we want all town officials and school officials, two separate articles, to be elected by Australian ballot.
Perfect. Okay. Like it. You guys agree with that?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I did highlight some things on the warning, more because I just needed some clarification.
Okay.
One of them, Jen's gonna get me the articles for the reserve fund. She'll get me the budget stuff. But at the bottom of page 2 of the warning, it talks about the informational meeting. So in the past, the select board has had an informational meeting for basically the budget, even though it's not required because the budget is voted by us from the floor. The select board just kind of talked about, the different meeting things, and it was more of it wasn't called an informational meeting. It was more of like a town meeting prep, like going over everything that you guys would talk about. So what's required is the bond informational meeting. So what I don't know is when you are going to have that meeting. I put a date in there based on historical, meetings, but you guys need to tell me what you want that informational date to be and the time. I threw in 6:00 just because, but are you going to talk about just the bond because that's the only thing that's on the Australian ballot? Or are you going to talk about, anything else? Because if you're only going to talk about the bond, then I need to change some wording on that.
So is Jen got off? Cause I know, when does the informational meeting have to be held?
So the
So-
statutes have changed.
Okay,
It has to be, it can be within 30 days of town meeting,
okay,
but then of course you have to warn it, in advance. So, there is that.
okay. Because I talked with Ryan, because Ryan is having his at the fire department. And my thought was we should have I'm very much in favor of having an informational meeting, even though it's not mandatory for us. I just think it's a good idea if people have questions.
Yeah.
I think it's just nice of us to do. And talk about whatever questions they might have on the budget or anything. Because some people don't go to town meetings, so they just like to know. So I mentioned to Ryan about doing both of those the same night, because then it's one less meeting, right?
Right.
We can maybe do the informational here at, say, 6 o'clock. In the past, people never come, but if they do, and then I thought maybe 7 o'clock at the fire station.
What day did you say?
Well, that's why I was asking, because Mr. Justin's going on vacation and I really would like him
Really?
to be here. I know.
We're, better be somewhere warm.
It is.
Okay, that's fine. I'll.
So that's why I was asking the date, Kim, because you're gone when? February.
February 21st
Okay,
until Monday,
Right.
March 3rd.
right before town meeting. So and Ryan was thinking of February 24th, which that's February break. So I didn't
Yeah,
think
that's,
that was a great time anyways, but he was concerned about the timing of how many days before town meeting. But if it's 30 days, we're good. So I'm thinking Monday, February 17th. Is that school board? Probably.
no, it's also President's Day though.
Oh,
So that's a holiday for a lot, it's a federal holiday for a lot of people, including the town. I believe,
shoot,
isn't it?
yeah. Is that a town holiday, Kim? It is, right?
I mean, it's not for me, but I don't know if it is for the town.
Shoot.
If it was the
Is it?
18th, that'd be a Tuesday every month for town meetings. What was the date we're talking?
February 17th is President's Day. It's also the same night as the school's annual meeting.
Oh, okay, definitely not that night then. Okay.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I feel like it's probably a holiday.
I
mean, it's not mine, but.
we definitely don't want
Yeah,
to
it's
see night
holiday for the
schools. And Tuesday, the 18th is our regular meeting. No,
No, it's not.
No, we can do it the 18th.
but does Ryan have a fire meeting that night?
Probably, but that's okay, they'll be fine. I'm just kidding, I don't know. I mean, it's not a maintenance night, it's the first.
So Kim, can I get back to you on that date? I'll talk to Ryan.
Yeah.
I'm gonna text him, but I'm gonna shoot for
19th looks good.
the night. I was thinking the 19th, honestly, too.
Mondays, Tuesdays, Thursdays and Fridays don't work.
Would that be pushing it? Cause you leave the next day for vacation? Could you do Wednesday, the 19th?
Yeah.
You're giving me that look.
Yeah, like I like the 18th better, but I can do the 19th.
Okay,
Just pack on the 18th.
Yeah.
tentatively the 19th, Kim, but I'm gonna confirm all that with Ryan
Okay.
to make sure that works for the fire department.
Okay.
So I'll let you know.
And you're thinking 6 o'clock, you're thinking?
And are you thinking, like you mentioned, doing part of the informational meeting at the town office and then doing the other part at the fire station?
Yes, because for the informational meeting, Kim, I want people to be able to zoom in.
Okay, perfect.
And at the fire station, unfortunately, we're not gonna be able to do that.
Yeah.
So I think that would be a nice opportunity for people that might want to call in for the
Yeah.
budget. So yeah, 2 places, unfortunately, but.
Okay.
Agree with that? I'm
Yeah.
kind of making a decision without.
No, I think
Okay.
that makes most sense.
Okay, so do we want to do 5:30 or do we want to do 6 and then 7? I think an hour is plenty.
Do 5:30.
You wanna do 5:30?
30.
5:30 and
6:30. Okay.
5:30 and 6:30?
Yeah.
Tentatively, okay. Okay, cool. Okay, so Kim, I'll confirm that with you tomorrow.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so there, in the special budget meeting. It sounds like we don't need to do that. Right?
Yeah.
You guys good with that? Okay,
With the direction there's comments made about the budget to give to Jen, nothing that she'll do what. we hope.
I think that she probably will. And I think maybe I'll let her know that if something drastic comes up in that budget, maybe to just let us know, but I don't think that will be a problem. Okay. And Kim, I kind of expressed some concern when Justin and I were doing this agenda that I'm just concerned that because there's gonna be so much from the floor, are you concerned about the busyness of town meeting and et cetera?
No,
No? Okay,
no.
okay. Cause I of course said to Justin, like, maybe Kim will want you there to take notes instead of her because of all the busyness that might be happening. But he wants to go to his own town meeting, so he can't be there.
Yeah, so I actually have the theater manager, he records the meeting onto a thumb drive.
Perfect.
And as long as everybody speaks into the microphones, I can hear it perfectly.
Okay, so we'll just make sure that that happens. Okay. Okay. Cool. If you're not concerned, then I'm not. I was more worried about, like, if we end up having to do paper ballots more because of the floor votes. I don't know.
Yeah.
Am I overthinking that?
Yes and no. It is going to be a little bit more chaotic in that respect.
Okay.
But I don't think it's going to be a bad thing. It's just going to take, the whole meeting is going to take a little bit longer.
Okay.
And is the town meeting is all at one location this year? We're not doing 2 locations?
So no, because the bond is by Australian ballot and the polling for Australian ballot is at the town office and the floor meeting is at the high school.
We do have 2 locations. Okay.
Okay.
Anything else on town meeting, Kim, that you can think of?
I can't really think of anything right now.
Okay.
Just to put it out there, looking at the warning that was presented as draft warning. That says the legal voters of the town of Hyde Park are hereby notified to meet at Lemoyle Union High School. Regarding the bond. Obligation of bonds. So I'm not sure if that's a typo or if that's what's meant to be there.
So what are you looking at?
I'm looking at is HYK24. It's a warning that was sent by, I believe, Jen.
Yeah, that's not the warning that we're using.
Okay.
There's a draft that I have prepared that I'm taking the wording from the attorneys and putting it onto our warning.
Okay.
And our warning says to meet at Lemoyle Union High School for the floor vote. And then the next paragraph is to meet at the lower level for Australian ballot.
Thank you very much.
You're very welcome.
Okie dokie. Well, thank you, Kim. Okay, Stephen, you're up.
Okay, there are a few things, we, I don't know how many of you folks do 100, but the FEMA house is gone. Yeah, 5169 100,
Yes,
house is gone, it's all graded,
nice.
looks nice.
Yeah, it
I'm
does.
gonna have to take a.
Did a good job on the
Yeah.
contour, Really happy, All Cycles gave us a really good deal and they did a really good
That's
job.
awesome.
Yeah.
I'm glad to
Really
hear
happy
that.
with that. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing your name wrong, and I apologize if I do, but Neoka Houston, she's on the cemetery commission, she has resigned,
Okay,
pretty much effective immediately. And we also had Tina Pearson, was part of the Knot and Hyde Park group. She's also tendered her resignation, effective immediately. Let's see, Town of Franklin, I think everybody's seen the
Yes.
yes,
paid in full, so
thank you.
now the shelter is been net funded. There's no deficit spending at all at this point.
I don't know if you know, yeah.
No deficit spending.
Yeah.
The spending, but no deficit.
Yeah. I said on those things.
We still can't get him. We still can't get him.
Come on.
Yes,
You're gonna stay on until it's. Listen, Savannah.
I did bring it up earlier, it's a 10% increase, but it's okay.
Okay.
Let's see, and Morrisville Sand and Gravel, we have a hearing on the merits, and that's gonna be in February, the 12th and the 13th.
Okay,
You have a meeting on the what, the merit?
A hearing on the merits, it's environmental court, so
Yeah, which is.
no, basically it's, most other courts you can do like motion for summary judgment or motion to dismiss, but you're not allowed to do that in environmental court. So basically, this is a rundown through of all the evidence. And the judge will look at it and say, yeah, this shouldn't be here anymore. Or hopefully that's what he's gonna say. So that's what the hearing on the merits is. It's not the actual final hearing, I don't believe. Maybe it spills over to the next day, but.
Okay.
Let's see, and we also. We were approved for another FEMA property, 19 River Run. I'm not sure if anybody knows where that is.
No.
Basically, it's a little dirt road across from the school.
Yeah.
It goes down and goes way down, goes over the rail trail and down and around. Probably never been there unless you're looking for this place, because.
I don't even know where that road is. That's terrible.
Yeah, it's, go.
Like across from Finnegan Field?
No.
You go down 10 minutes.
that's
Oh,
right there.
oh, gotcha. Okay,
So we've been approved for buyout for that.
okay,
So that's, we started the process there.
okay.
I would like to, for that one also, just to get permission from the board to sign stuff for that.
Okay,
Nothing in the immediate future, but if we're here, we can just authorize me to do that.
That was the one we agreed to allow, right?
No, that was the other one, the one that was already torn down.
correct. This is a new one.
This
This
is
is
a
a
new
new
one.
property.
They
Yeah,
did
but-
come to us a while ago and just
They
mentioned
did
that
come
they
with
might.
that, and they said they wanted, they were potentially.
Oh, gotcha. But we didn't authorize him to sign it.
Right.
So can we?
I'll make a motion
Here's not good.
for Stephen to sign on this 19
River Run.
River
Run.
Road. Property.
I'll second that.
Okay, all those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstained. Okay,
And last month, we had a meeting with the listers and some folks from Morrisville Light
Mhm.
and Power about the dam up, you know, the one that's on the Green River Reservoir. There's a lot of stuff going on with that. And I was just wondering if the board would allow me as a representative of the town to work with them, not expend any money or, you know, any legal fees, but I think we could be impacted by what's going on up there. And they asked if we could liaise with them at least. One of the big things is like the drawdowns. That's basically when they let water out before floods. You know, we get big floods. That's real crucial to keep a lot of our stuff from washing out. And also, you know, if they can keep the dam there, it's the reason they were here was because the assessment on it. Basically, they're saying now it's not gonna be worth anything. So,
Gotcha.
so yeah, if you guys wouldn't mind, I'd just like to work with them on that. At least in a limited capacity.
So with the Morseville Water and Light main,
Yeah.
gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay,
Just you know, support, like if they were meeting with somebody from the state or something.
yeah,
Go along as a part of the town.
the group,
It
okay,
could be a good thing to keep an eye on anyhow.
absolutely, yeah. Yep,
So I think. Yeah, I think that's it for my stuff.
okay,
The welcome signs, we're still waiting for.
I'm working with the liaison now from. the,
oh, of course, yeah,
From the National Guard. So
okay. And the
Working
winter,
my
too.
way through.
Maybe by spring, we can put it up, right, when the snow's gone. Okay. And office space we're not worried about right now, right?
Yeah.
Not that, well, until spring, okay. Okay, I should probably ask what, if you need something, or if you're
I'm
just
waiting
listening.
for the oil fiber net.
Perfect, okay. Well, we can do that right now if you'd like.
Then you're next.
Come right on up if you want to speak. Is this for our district representative? Is that
I
what we're
want to
doing?
find out whether you're appointing, I'm one of the representatives.
Gotcha, okay,
And Michael had left and someone else is supposed to be getting appointed.
gotcha,
And I will be stepping or not requesting reappointment come March.
okay. So where's the name?
That was Bob.
Yeah,
Mhm.
And I sent him an email and I haven't heard anything back from him.
Okay. So we have nobody to appoint.
it was gonna happen. I told him that it was being discussed.
Yes. So, have no date and no other people have reached out. So we now have a cemetery position, right?
Yep.
Cause that person stopped. Okay, and then we have a non-Hyde Park position. And we have the fiber net. And is there 2 positions?
Will be.
There will be as of March. Ooh,
Michael and I have been on since
the beginning,
Ron formed the fiber committee.
yeah, since the beginning. We should probably. We've tried posting, but can only push so much. Maybe at town meeting. We can really get the word out there. 'Cause we had a write-up, right, that we were helping. Like with a description for the fiber net one,
I believe it was distributed a couple times.
okay.
I'm not actually familiar with the position. What is it that you do? Did you?
We worked to bring fiber broadband internet to Lamoille County.
Mhm.
Most of Hyde Park has been done.
So you were the ones who went out and get the video people to come here, okay.
That we've been, when did we form? 2018, I think.
Okay.
Justin,
Oh.
Yes,
did we put something about the fiber representatives into the newsletter?
it was in the newsletter, yes,
Okay,
and I'm not seeing it on Front Porch Forum, but I think you made a Facebook post, right?
I did. I thought I put it on Front Porch Forum too.
You probably did, I didn't see it on my submissions, but it could have been done under your submissions.
Okay,
Do you want to repost it and I'll make sure it's in the newsletter again?
yeah. I think part of the newsletter should be something like a special something or other about town meeting and that kind of thing.
A special edition.
Yeah.
Yeah, ooh, a special edition. There you go.
There you go.
With all the vacancies and things like that. That's a good idea.
The upcoming meetings, like when we have the date set for all that special meeting, like.
Yep.
Is there a reason why you resigned?
I've been doing it for a long time. And now it's gonna be mostly oversight and things like that, that's.
Right. You did the
I was
hard
gonna
work
say,
and now
I'll
you're
work
getting
done now.
done.
I'm more of a technical person. and,
Gotcha.
So the finances and
Gotcha. You did all the hard work.
Well, yeah, thank you.
We appreciate that, right? It's a lot of work, I'm sure. Okay, so, Ryan was elected chief, again, at the fire department annual meeting. So we need to appoint him as chief, as the select board. So if we can have a motion,
I'll make a motion to elect Ryan Nolan as the chief of the Hyde Park Fire Department.
Not to elect, to appoint.
appoint,
Oh,
yes.
sorry.
Yep.
To appoint.
Second,
I'll second that.
okay, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstain, I am abstaining. Fire alarm replacement quote. That is one expensive
Yeah,
fire alarm.
yeah.
Is this the one that got ruined
When with the power.
when the
surge.
power surge? So
Yeah.
does insurance pay?
We expected it will,
Yeah.
yeah.
Did you guys see that?
The problem was it was so close, that's where the service comes in, so it took the brunt of the surge.
Gotcha.
Which,
So what are we approving on this one? Because I see we have to approve, we just have to approve the invoice.
It's,
But we're submitting it to insurance though, right? So we're not approving the expenditure.
well, we don't know if it's gonna,
that's a quote.
yeah, so basically, we have to have the firebox.
Yeah.
So, we're gonna submit it for, for insurance reimbursement, but if they don't do it, then we still gotta have it.
Right, so then they'll probably come back for the expenditure if the insurance doesn't approve it. So it looks like we need to approve and authorize for submission.
Is this who we currently use for, is this who they currently have? Or did they get like other quotes?
No, this is the people who've been maintaining it. They're also the ones who maintained the one at the town garage too.
I just feel like. What is the yearly?
444.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm not sure how many people do those, so I'm not sure how many quotes we could get if we.
I use. Okay, mine's 475.
Yeah, that's it.
Well, I don't know, does that one have a landline attached, so,
Yeah, it does. It says it's.
It calls, yeah.
It says.
Actually, no, where it has a cellular.
a cellular, yeah, that's what we have, yeah,
Say
so it
with
has
an
a,
intro, yeah.
okay, so.
Apparently. The one at the garage was fried from a surge that came through the phone lines. So that's why they switched it to the cellular.
Oh,
Yeah, they do, because if they lose communication with landline, they have cellular.
Yeah, ours is strictly cellular now.
Yeah. that's
I'll make a motion, but I don't know what I'm making a motion for. Are we just making a motion to approve that quote? Or making a motion to submit this to insurance?
I think we'll motion to, if you see on there, I guess a
Approve the
couple
work.
things. One is we need, if
The work needs to happen, right? We can't have no fire alarm.
Correct.
Yeah, work needs to happen. So there's a couple questions. One is, does one of you want to sign, or should Chastity sign that? Or you can appoint Kim to sign, because she's actually been spearheading the whole thing.
Let's appoint Kim and then she can deal, you know, deal with the scheduling and all of that part of it too, and the submission to the insurance.
So are we making a motion to have Kim sign the fire alarm quote and move forward with the work and submit to insurance?
Second.
That's my motion.
Second. All those in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, abstain. Okay, perfect. So there's that. Go back to Kim.
I did all ours.
What?
And
Equalization study, what you got for us, Justin? Besides the equalization study, any notes? Where did we go? Okay,
Please second that last motion.
I did. Savannah.
Besides the equalization study itself, not really an update.
Okay.
The statewide adjustment is truly statewide. Every town sees that 72.36%. I I contacted the state today to talk about the education grant list to see where that number came from, at what point in time. It says from the 2024 August submission. So I was doing some comparisons and it's a little bit off, but that could be due to some errors and omissions that we did.
Right.
But otherwise seems on point.
Great.
Yeah.
Good.
Is there any questions? Oh, it's kind of to do with this, not so much, a little bit. I contacted WLVB. I also talked to Johnson Select Board, and I'm going to talk with the listers. I want to do an announcement to let everyone know for our two towns when our property inspections are over in Johnson. I'm doing a townwide mailing to all the owners because there's no zoning there, so I want to know about that. And then put the word out there about our newsletter. So it's kind of like a one paragraph, just here's a few bullet points, here's some contact information. And then based on they said that will play once or twice a day, 6 days a week. And then based on the comments and feedback we received from that, we can go live on air and discuss and answer questions or whatnot.
Okay.
Get the more information out there, spread the word, etc.
Perfect. Okay. Sounds good. Okay, planning commission update. Still good?
Still good, really, not much has changed in the last couple of meetings, it's mostly just collaborating, trying to come up with a system that works for the town plan commission and the village.
Perfect.
So hopefully we'll have a lot of public engagement coming this spring.
Okay. Great. Great. Okay, minutes.
Why do I feel like, what was the one I wasn't at?
December 6th.
Is that on in here?
Let's go along.
Oh. I feel like I saw-
There's not December 9th, you mean?
It says I was here.
Because there was two.
That's what I was confused about. I was like, I missed the meeting, but all of these say I was present at them. That's why I'm confused.
No, there was another meeting, there's another meeting beyond that. I don't get.
No, that's what I'm saying. I missed the meeting, but these are the one, this is the one at the
Well, you got,
town of Hyde, at North Hyde Park.
You went to a North Hyde Park meeting
Yeah,
and you went to the budget meeting before that.
yeah. But the meeting that we had, the last select board meeting, we had those.
the minutes aren't in there for that yet.
Right. Yeah.
We're still. Okay.
Okay, that's why I'm confused, because I was like, there's one of these I can't vote on, and I was trying to make sure I didn't vote on
No,
those.
that was the 17th, the one before Christmas.
December
That one.
Okay, I was just trying to make sure that I didn't vote on the right one,
And
the
those
ones I
minutes,
wasn't
those
at.
minutes weren't in that package. that
Okay.
I saw.
Yeah, but I did mark you as absent on those ones.
Okay, I was trying to make sure,
Print them.
I was trying to make sure that I didn't vote on approving the ones I wasn't at. So I was like looking, I was like, why is my name on all these? I was like, where's the one I wasn't at? I know I missed one. Okay. So I did all these, so I can make sure I
Okay, so let's do a couple motions on this. Did you guys see the adjustments that Ron suggested to the 26th?
Well, I saw that there was suggestion, oh, right here,
Yeah,
add that, right there, I see that.
which I liked that addition, so amendment, I mean. Addition, amendment.
Okay.
So let's do a motion on just that one with the amendments and then we can,
Okay, so I move that we approve the November 26th, 2024 meeting minutes with the amendments.
second,
I'll second it.
all those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstained. Okay, oh, yeah, you weren't there. Okay,
Make sure you.
That's the.
Matt was not there, so he abstained.
Thank you all.
from that one. Okay, and then the December 9th. 2 meetings, we did our meeting and then we went to North Hyde Park.
Okay. So wait. Okay, so. I move that we approve the regular Hyde Park Selectboard meeting for December 9th.
We could do them both in this one.
Oh, and the Hyde Park Selectboard meeting with North Hyde Park on December 9th.
I'll second it.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstained. Good on that, right? Good. Awesome. Okay, did you guys get a chance to look at the warrants? Do you want to have a motion to approve
I'll
those?
make a motion to approve them.
Okay. We have a second on that.
I'll second that.
Okay. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstained. Okay, warrants are done. Done.
Does need by the poll?
Correct. No,
No,
made
Savannah.
by Savannah,
I
seconded by Nicole. Hey,
And though I didn't print them, do you want to approve the 17th minutes or do you want to put them off to the next meeting?
let's put them off.
Oh, I'm abstaining.
Right, you're abstaining. Let's wait till next one, then they're printed and they. Please,
I mean, I would like to look at them, but
right,
I'm
we'll
sure I can
wait.
look at them online. I think I watched the meeting.
Okay, do we, oh, wait. Here's. Okay, is there anything else, guys? Do you have anything? Matthew?
No.
Okay, so we will, let's have a motion for, Kim, are you good?
Yes,
Are you good?
yes.
Okay.
And Murph, I sent you a message. Do you want to identify yourself or do you have any comments to make? Not sure who you are, just on screen says Murph.
Must be good. Okay. So do we need to move into executive session for the union?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, okay, so can I have a motion? Thank you. Can I have a motion?
I'll
to-
make a motion to go into.
Thank you for your years of service.
I know.
Thank you.
I was.
Oh, take a cue.
They too, they're small.
Right.
Take care.
We've adjourned
Right.
this one.
I'm sorry? We need a motion to move into executive session to discuss union contract negotiations and then with whomever. What you want in on it.
I know you love me for this, but we need 2 motions for this one. We recognize that you need executive session and then actually go into executive session.
I don't need that. You're a pain in the butt.
I know, that's why.
Okay, so what he said.
Okay, so I recognize that we need executive session. I move that we recognize we need executive session. Just a second.
Second it.
Thank you.
Okay. Wait, now we need to,
Do we do all those in favor?
Yeah.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstain, okay.
so now I move that we go into executive session with, who do you want to hear?
Everybody's
Everybody?
fine?
Everybody?
No? No?
With Stephen, right?
Okay.
Is that good?
Sure,
Okay.
yes.
Yeah.
All right.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay, opposed, abstain. Okay, so we'll move into executive session at 7:16.
All right.
Okay.
So out at 7:52 PM.
Okay, yep.
Any public discussion action taken?
We're gonna go back to the town and the union with another round of talks. Negotiations. Okay.
Okay. And then you have another executive session aside from the evaluation that you need to do,
Yes.
and this one is for. One VSA 313 regarding
I think it's still a personnel.
Yeah, personnel, thank you, yes.
personnel evaluations or something.
Just personnel.
Yep.
Okay, then a motion to go into executive session. This one we only need one
For the union, I mean, for the evaluation.
for the fire department.
Oh, we'll do the evaluation
We'll do
first.
evaluation first, okay.
This is too much for me.
I know, good thing we have you. That's a good thing.
Okay, yeah, motion made by to go into,
I'll make that motion to go into executive session
For,
for the evaluation,
okay, to include
to include
all of us.
all of us, I guess.
Sure,
I
yeah.
don't know. Who needs to be there?
Well, Stephen.
Stephen.
And
Who else needs to be there?
us, Justin,
you guys are included already.
right?
Oh,
Be there?
we're just, it's just assumed we're gonna be there, I guess.
You can be.
Yeah, second,
I seconded.
you sure you're awake to second?
She's curled up in her small here.
I know,
Look at the way, she looks all cozy.
I'm not really.
Maybe we can get one.
I wanted to have hands.
And
but
then
it
back in
doesn't-
the session.
can't say Karina.
I know. To adjourn?
I move.
Second?
Second.
Perfect.
No action taken from executive session.
No.
Okay. Well, yeah, but.
Have a good night.